All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders at the great millstone who taught me this truth. Much respect to the Akim out there laboring in his work, and peace and salutation to the hopefully elect who is scattered abroad to USA Shalom. Yeah, so this is going to be a quick in transit lesson as I'll just sit back and meditating about utilizing patience, because see, the society has taught us to be hasty and to pretty much be entitled to certain things when we want it, but when you come unto this truth, you find out that the Lord pretty much slows everything down, and he teaches us that everything is not on our time, all right? And that's what you have to accept. That's what you have to accept in this truth, is the fact that the things in which you want, the things in which you ask for are not always going to be on your time, but that's when faith comes into play, in which you wait for these things to manifest when the Lord decides, that it's time, right? Because everything is on his time, not our time. So I want to go into a quick lesson, just reminding brothers and sisters to remain faithful and remain patient when things are not going your way. And this is a form of trusting in the Lord, because patience is going to be needed in this society, man. Patience is going to be needed to get out of this society, for better words, because basically, these people are ruled by impatience. So, when the time of trouble comes, they're going to make a hasty decision and flee. I see it all the time on my job, when I make transactions with clerks, my occupation. I see how when I'm at the clerk dealing with them for like 1 or 2 minutes, I may have a few people behind me and they get impatient, they get hasty, and, they develop an attitude and they just storm out the store. And right when they storm out, I'm done with the transaction. You know what I'm saying? But this is the society in which we are in. People are extremely impatient. They feel entitled, as if things got to be on their time. But we have to learn how to wait for the Lord, man. And it takes a lot of self-restraint, a lot of moral and spiritual discipline. Because without that patience, we may offend. So let me get this real quick. In ChatGPT, I said, what does it mean? Patience is a virtue. So the phrase patience is a virtue means that being able to wait calmly, calmly is key, without frustration or anger, is a valuable and admirable quality, all right, a virtue. So in other words, it teaches that patience, the ability to stay calm and not rush or complain when things take time, is a moral or spiritual strength. All right, it's not always easy, but people who are patient show wisdom, self-control, and maturity. And of course, the ultimate form of wisdom is the scriptures, man. So, when we're being put into predicaments in which things are not going our way per se, that's when you had to lean upon the Lord, man. All right, and trust that he's going to come through at his time and not yours. And this releases inward stress, anxiety. All right, trust the Lord's going to come through and deliver when it's his time. Because when you're gazed upon your time, man, it's going to cause you to do things that are not convenient in the spirit. And a prime example is Saul. All right, and in which I got that on down, but we'll continue reading. So it says, example meaning, when someone faces, 1144, call it al-Bashimashah. When someone faces delays or difficulties, but stays calm instead of giving up or getting angry, they are showing that patience is a virtue. And we know what the scripture said, I think, in the book of Luke 19, in your patience possess your souls, man. So when the haste of society, your ability to wait upon the Lord is going to be key to survival. So it says, so I asked, all right, Saul, I just said Saul didn't wait on the priest in war. And I had to pull up the account. So it says exactly, you're referring to a story from 1 King, it's like 1 Samuel, the 13th chapter, so like I'm driving in the Bible. So it says, here's what happened. King Saul was preparing for battle against the Philistines. The prophet Samuel told him to wait 7 days for him to come and offer sacrifice to the Most High, all right, before going to war. Because Samuel was a Levite, he was a priest, and Saul was a Benjaminite. You know, he was not a priest. He was not authorized to offer sacrifice, so he had to wait on Samuel. So continuing on, it says, when the 7th day came and Samuel hadn't arrived yet, Saul saw that his soldiers were becoming afraid and started to scatter. So Saul took it upon himself, and this is what you don't want to do out of impatience. Again, so Saul took it upon himself to offer the burnt offerings instead of waiting for Samuel, okay? Even though only priests and prophets were authorized to do that. So what this is saying is that no matter how intense the situation is, all right, you know, you had the Philistines approaching or whatever, Saul was getting nervous. So Saul was like, damn, well, fuck it. Samuel ain't here. He said he'd be here in 7 days. So since he ain't here, I'm gonna offer the sacrifice. And that was him being completely out of order. So what this is saying is that throughout the fiery trial, when the heat is put upon you, you gotta remain, you gotta remain in your lot and wait. Okay? You're not justified into being out of your lot because of the conditions, man. Okay? You gotta wait. And this is in all phases. So it says, let's read it again. So it says, so Saul took it upon himself and to offer the burnt offering instead of waiting for Samuel, even though only priests and prophets were authorized to do that. So just as he finished, Samuel arrived. You see that? So just when this man offended and threw up a sacrifice, speaking about Saul, it says Samuel arrived and rebuked him, saying that Saul had disobeyed the Most High's command. Why? Because, you know, Saul gave him a time limit, right? I mean, Samuel gave him a time limit, 7 days, but when that 7 days came, in which, all right, so continuing on, it says, because of this impatience and disobedience, Samuel told him that his kingdom would not last and that the Most High had chosen another man, David, to rule after him. So the point of this is that, you know, patience is definitely a virtue and it's true. Your patience possesses your souls. It doesn't justify you to do things according to your own will when things are not going as you would like them to go. You know, when the heat has been put upon you, you're commanded to remain in your lot no matter what. So the lesson says Saul's failure to wait showed a lack of faith and patience, right? And God's timing. See that? It's a strong example of how impatience can lead to disobedience and lost blessings. Connecting perfectly to the sayings, patience is a virtue. See that? So, I mean, that's it in a nutshell. So, basically, you know, patience, okay, and trusting in the Lord Yahweh Shemosha will allow you to be obedient. So, if you don't trust, then you're going to disobey His word, no matter what someone told you before. Yeah, Samuel was supposed to be there for Saul. In 7 days, offer up a sacrifice because the Philistines were approaching and soldiers were getting scared. So he took it upon himself to go up and offer that sacrifice himself, knowing that that's not his lot. So the key is to remain in your lot when things are not convenient for you, man. All right? Because when you go outside of your ordinance and your abilities that's given to you, then you offend. And that caused Saul to have his, his crown snatched. You see? So let's go ahead and grab a scripture real quick. I think it's Luke 19. And let's lock here. Luke 21:19. Yeah, so here it says, in your patience possess your souls. NLT. By standing firm on what? This truth. The word, the commandment, and you will win your souls. See? Because to be impatient means that you're ultimately proud. You're proud in spirit, whether you know it or not. You're going outside of your lot and doing what's not commanded unto you, man. Hey, you're offending. So Ecclesiastes 7 and verse 8, it says, Like, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. And the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. See? So the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. The proud in spirit is going to do according to his own will instead of waiting on the Lord, man. The scripture speaks about that often. Wait ye upon the Lord. See? So this truth commands us to wait, to show patience, because we're not on our own term, man. You're not on your own time. No matter how the hell you feel, no matter how hard the conditions are, you still gotta wait. You gotta remain in your lot until the Lord comes through and shows you mercy. So again, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. So be not hasty in thy spirit, that you be angry for anger. Anger rests in the bosom of fools. And pretty much anger comes from a sense of what, uncertainty, anxiety, not getting things on your own time. You having certain expectations according to your will, and which that increases your frustration. So the inward peace in which we have through this truth was designed to cause us to cease from all of that, to a sense. Yeah, we still get angry, right? Ain't no doubt about that. But it